Hello YouTube and welcome back to another video. Today we will be reviewing a unique lens. I say unique because it is the first 50mm full-frame manual prime lens f1.7 for the Sony E-mount system. It is currently selling on Amazon in the US for $110 as of August 10th, 2018. When I saw it, it sounded promising, so I figured I'd put it to the test and share the results with you. I'll be comparing it to the Sony 50mm autofocus full-frame prime lens, so don't go away. "50mm prime lenses are popular since they produce great portraits and still appropriate for regular photography. It's very common for new photographers to purchase a 50mm prime lens as their first lens after the kit one. Most 50mm prime lenses, regardless of their brand, are usually sharp with an aperture max of 1.8 and a price tag ranging between $150 to $200 US. Unpacking this little lens and taking it out of the box leaves you with a good impression of the lens. It is made of metal, it feels heavy, and looks professional. Meike, however, is a Chinese company that's trying to ride the mirrorless camera wave by creating affordable manual lenses to serve as an alternative to the more expensive native E-mount Sony lenses. Looking a bit closer, we see the aperture ring opens and closes very smoothly. It is a D-click aperture ring. The max aperture, as I mentioned earlier, is 1.7, which makes it a sharp lens and by default will produce beautiful bokeh. It features a metal mount, and because it's a manual lens, it has no electronic connections on the back of it. There are, however, couple of odd things about this lens. One, having the aperture ring in front of the focus ring. And two, the aperture values jumps from 8 to 22. Personally, I've never seen this jump in aperture value before. So if any of you know why that is, please comment in the comment section below and let us know. The lens accepts a 52mm filter thread. The Sony lens, on the other hand, is made of plastic, is a lot lighter when compared to the Meike, accepts a 49mm filter thread. The Sony's maximum aperture is 1.8, unlike Meike's 1.7. It features electronic connections on the back since it has autofocus and is a native Sony lens. Meike, however, is more compact and shorter, which without touching both lenses, it gives the appearance that the Sony is bigger and heavier. Checking out the results of shooting the sharpness chart is impressive. I have shot an image at every aperture stop down to f8. One pro tip I can give you when it comes to manual lenses in general, and not just this particular one, is to utilize the focus peaking feature that Sony offers, I believe, on all their mirrorless camera models. Speaking of camera models, for today's video, I am mounting both the Meike and the Sony lens on my Sony a7 R2. Examining the corners of the sharpness chart images beginning at f1.7, f2.0, f2.8, f4, f5.6, f8, and lastly f22. I think we could all agree that corners are pretty sharp. Going back to the f1.7, examining the center, not bad at all. A bit of softness, but nothing too crazy. Again at f2.0, f2.8, f4, f5.6, f8, and lastly f22. Doing the same test to the Sony 50mm lens. We're checking out starting with the max aperture of 1.8. Before we begin, as you could see here, the lens info, since it's autofocus, the Lightroom has all the information on the lens. 50mm f1.8. And let's check out the corners again. Pretty good at f1.8, very sharp. That's 2.0. And this is 2.8. And this is 5.6. Checking it out again, but this time checking the center. Very good, very sharp. I think it's a lot sharper than the Meike. Of course, since this is native and it's autofocus. 2.8, 2.0, 2.8, and lastly 5.6. I think it's all pretty good. While I still think that the Sony still has an edge, but the Meike does come very, very close. Considering the Meike is a manual lens, I think that is a great result. I wanted to test this lens under some low light conditions. So I took this picture of my dog sitting on the couch with the only source of light being a light lamp behind me and several feet away from me. So the ISO ended up being 12,800. I shot it in manual. And as you could see, while there is a lot of noise, I still think for that high of an ISO, it's not a bad image. Also, do keep in mind though that Sony cameras are well known to perform really well in low light, especially the R2. All right, YouTube, this concludes this review. So let's recap real quick. This gem right here is has the right price. It's $110 right now. It's compact, takes nice pictures. Very well made, looks professional, fits very well. I would rate it 4 out of 5 stars. I'm taking 1 star out for the 2 things that I mentioned earlier in the review, which is the transposition of the rings, the focus and the aperture ring, as well as the fact that the aperture jumps from 8 to 22. Like I said, I don't know why, and I couldn't find an explanation by the time I was ready to upload this video. I'm not ready to commit yet. I think I will be returning this lens back. I still want to try that new Rokinon 50mm full frame for the Sony E-mount. It's autofocus, and I've been hearing good things about it. So I'm going to give that a try. I'm not intimidated by manual lenses. As I mentioned earlier, do use the focus beacon if you're not already using it. With the Rokinon, the new line of Rokinon products, it's autofocus and it's supposed to work really well with the built-in autofocus system of the Sony cameras. So I will be giving that lens a try. And if I don't like it, or I don't think that the extra money is worth the autofocus, then I will be returning back to this little gem. Thank you for watching. Consider subscribing, and we'll see you in the next video.